Hey guys, I'm Nod Lammers of Invoked 101.
And I'm Mia Lammers of Invoked 101.
And today we got to talk about something that I've noticed is an issue to a degree with live streams that are done by stores and live streams that are done by Konami themselves. And that's the live commentary that they have people doing on those live streams.
So today we want to talk about what should qualify you as a live Yu-Gi-Oh commentary for official events. Of course, you can always do your own live commentary on your own YouTube channels, but for official events, I think that things need to be a little more professional.
Okay, so one of where we got this idea from is we were watching a live stream where my buddy Gara of Benton 10 was playing on live stream, and at one point during the live stream, he summons Fuma to his opponent's side of the field, and the commentators don't know why he summoned Fuma over there. He gets rid of Fuma, and then they change what they say Fuma does at least 4 times. And then a few minutes after that, they say that he doesn't know how to play his own deck, when to me they just show that they don't even know how to play that deck.
They went over what he was doing for at least a good, I'm gonna say 7 minutes. They were talking about what he was possibly doing, but they changed it up as he was playing it. They didn't know exactly what he was doing, and then even though he won the game, they still said that he didn't know what he was doing. When it was very clear, very obvious that they didn't know what deck he was even playing. They also didn't pay attention. So I'd like to point this out that this was filmed live at the Lenexa Regional. People that were doing the live stream were just locals there. They weren't Konami's people at all. They were just everyday locals that walked into the store. I'd never heard of these guys. Like when they told me like these guys will be live streaming it, I was like, I don't know who they are. Mm-hmm. So first, for what should qualify you is definitely pay attention to the game. There were so many points, and not just the Lenexa Regional live stream, but in many live streams that at least I've viewed, where somebody will end up talking about their own personal experience, or if they even like the deck that the other person's playing, for so long that they completely sweep over what the person is doing. And they don't catch when there's misplays. They don't catch when someone finally puts off a combo. They kind of just go over that, and then they're like, "Oh wait, what happened?" And we're like, "I wonder why you haven't kept up." Yeah, it's really easy to tell stories like that. Like me, whenever I recently collaborated with Legacy Crusaders to do their live commentary on a Blue Eyes and Invoke duel. And I'll put that up on the iCard on screen, so you guys can go check that out. It was a really cool duel. But and one of the things he mentioned to me was don't let there be silence. He's like, if one person finishes a sentence, you go for it. And I was like, all right. And I think that is a thing with the actual commentators. But whenever me and Benji, we were still able to keep up with what was going on the field and in the video. It's when you get distracted, again, going back to the Lenexa Regional people, the guys who were live streaming it completely, they said, well, Spoonie might make the Bamboozle Shadow, and he had already made it, and they had completely missed it, and they talked about it like he was an idiot because he didn't do it, when in all actuality, they did. He did make that card. Another thing is actual knowledge of the game. Mm-hmm. So at Worlds, during the Dueling section of Worlds, they had the voice actor for I know he does Aster Phoenix, and I think he did someone in the original show, but I don't remember what character, but it was the voice actor for Aster Phoenix from GX, and they had him doing commentary on the Dueling stream. And while I get it, it's like, oh, that's neat, it's a character who's actually in Duel Links, but the guy didn't know what any of the cards were. He was learning as he went, and I think they had him sat next to Billy Brake and another commentator who I don't know. Mm-hmm. And aside from actual knowledge of the game, I personally would like it if the people who are doing live commentary has actually played the game, at least within the past 5 years, at very, very least. Because if you're not actually out there playing against these meta decks, or even just a few past meta decks, you're not going to know what's actually going on in the game and why their build is different or special or actually taking down this other meta deck. You're not going to really understand the combos, and there's something different between somebody who's actually played against those decks versus somebody who's just researched them. You can hear the difference in their knowledge of what's actually going on in the game.
Yeah, like, so let's take Jerome McHale for every instance, because he is the most prolific Konami R&D guy that we have. And if you compare Jerome McHale, who topped in 2008, I think, or like was winning events back in 2008, 2007, and compare that to someone like Billy Brake, who's been winning events, who I think up until this last year, I believe I haven't seen him at events, but I'm pretty sure he's attended them this year. If you compare the two of them, I guarantee you that Billy Brake in a match would blow Jerome McHale out of the water, because Billy Brake has been playing in the more recent metas. And reasons like that, reasons that we have R&D guys who haven't been in the game and haven't been able to play the game against real competitors, but the reason we have broken cards like Junk Speeder, and that's how we completely overlook combos like the Omega combo that happened because of Junk Speeder. That's how we get these TCG cards that don't do anything or aren't good enough. That's how Vendread sadly ended up. That's how a lot of these TCG exclusive cards end up. Alright, so I also think that if you are going to commentate on a live duel, I think you should actually be like a real competitor, in my opinion. So I'm not saying that Jerome McHale and I think his name's Jeremy, but I could be completely wrong. But it's the two guys who usually do the YCS streams for Konami. I feel that while yeah, they do know the game, they do know what's going on, they do know the cards, I find it much more entertaining to have Billy Brake on the stream and listening to him, because he actually has been more knowledgeable as of recent. And I think it's more interesting to have real competitors from other events get up on stream and talk about the stream.
And obviously I haven't been playing the game for a very long time. I've only been around for about a year. But I always think it's really awkward whenever you have people who are just simply voice actors commentating, because I mean, as you mentioned before, normally they're learning about the cards at that point, and even if they actually do play the game, I just think it's so weird. Like, why have them commentate live to the entire world
at the Worlds event,
Worlds, especially at Worlds, when they aren't necessarily knowing what's going on? It's really cool that they're a voice actor, and you know, I appreciate the fact that they voice act. I think it's a beautiful art that they do, but at the same time, they don't really know how to keep up with the game, and all they can say is their personal stories about voice acting for the most part, or learning about the game. And then, drawing back to our first point, you lose track of the actual game.
Yeah, even if it is something just as Duel Links, there is a really big Duel Links community. I would argue, well, I mean, I wouldn't argue that Duel Links is bigger than the core game, but Duel Links is probably bigger than Pokemon Go at this point. Yeah. It's a massive thing, and there's tons of people who still play it, and it definitely has its competitors. So for someone to be on there who Duel Links players, honestly, no, they would know them because it's all anime characters.
Possibly, if they actually watch the anime, it could just be love the game.
But, but yeah, it's like just to have someone on there who kind of takes away a little bit from the real game. I think it's cool to have the voice actor on there to possibly do some like lines to like hear him say lines of cards that like maybe he doesn't say in game, or to hear like characters, you know, go like say lines to other characters, you know?
Yeah, that'd be really funny.
That's definitely interesting, but for the most part, they're just there for style points.
Yeah. Okay, so drawing back to our first point, whenever we said we don't want people to get distracted, obviously it's amazing to listen to somebody's story about them going up against a deck and saying that combo completely locked me out when I was playing blank deck, right? That is fascinating, but whenever it drags on to like 10, 15 minutes and they actually lose track of the game itself, that's whenever it becomes bothersome to at least me. I think it's really cool that if there's a card put down, it's like, that card is so overpowered, and they explain just a little bit of what happened during their game at one point, just a really quick thing. I think that's something that we can all relate to. I think that's something that keeps it a little more entertaining. But whenever it drags on and there have been like 3 turns later, that's whenever you lose me, and I'm like, please stop talking and go back to the actual game.
I also think that there should, to a degree, I think that there should be a judge on stream. I think that if you're doing a live event and you're watching, this isn't as big of a problem at YCSs, but at stuff like at like a regional, when a regional has like a feature match and stuff and it's being live streamed, I definitely think there should be a judge, or at least a certified judge doing the stream. Because there's moments when you look at at those streams and you just see like, oh, that's wrong. You notice it. And the judge and like the streamers don't catch it because they don't care. But this is more of a problem with the regionals where we're from, because our judges are god awful. Like they one time ruled that Trickstar's burn effects activate. When they don't, they're continuous or passive. And then they also have made my opponent was whining and crying after I asked him because he activated engage, and then a judge came over and made me pick up my ash. Yep. So
oh yeah, and
they take back their rulings and change them mid-game.
And they also, I mean, obviously we've all complained about this in our Lenexa video, and even a little bit in our Tulsa one, I think. But I mean, they'll tell people that they'll give game losses out if you try to get the head judge over because you disagree with another judge's ruling.
Because they file it under a rule sharking because you want to appeal your ruling.
And there are moments where you won't call a judge over and they'll just be walking over and they'll look at your game, they won't know what's going on, and they'll just assume and then say you can't do that. And it's like, but he did this, and then they don't want to admit they're wrong. You know? That's
a big problem with judges around here. I have gotten the certification for level 1. I just need to email them back. But I have yet to do that.
It's very... Nobody really wants to be a judge when all you're getting is packs. But this is all on a different topic. Let's be honest, this is a little bit of a different topic.
Yeah.
We're getting distracted ourselves.
That could be a video.
Yeah. Maybe we should make it into one.
Why you wouldn't want to be a judge.
Should we wrap it up?
Yeah.
So anyways, if you agree or disagree with what should qualify you to be a live Yu-Gi-Oh commentary for official events, please leave it in the comments below. Also, please hit that subscribe button if you want to see more great Yu-Gi-Oh content.
Ooh. And if you want more consistent things, and we've been getting a lot of requests for different deck profiles. Again, if you guys want to see those deck profiles, support us on Patreon, so that way we can get those cards and actually assemble those decks for you. Because personally, I love building decks, so I would but I'm out of room. I don't have any more room or money to get cards. So if you guys want to see those deck profiles that you want, we got a message about a Toon deck, we got a message about a Dark World deck, we got a message about Heroic Champions. If you guys want to see those decks, support us on Patreon. Please. The link is in the description below.
And let's be honest, if we built those decks and then we played around with them a little after you obviously deck profiled them, we could end up selling them or giving them out as prizes.
More giveaway.
Yeah, for our Patreon. Of course, for our Patreons.
For the Patreons, yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, thank you again, and bye!